Ashley needs to spend more time worrying about Ashley, and then maybe she would have secured the bag.
Virtual reality.
Hi, I'm Danny.
And I'm Evan.
And this week, of course, in New Jersey, love bubbles were getting popped, but luckily not Teresa and Louise, but people were just popping future friendships that could have gone down on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, because I don't think Rachel and Jennifer or Danielle and Jackie are going to be texting each other anytime soon, Evan.
Yes, it is, you idiot. Watch your mouth.
Oh my God, yeah, there was so much drama, but I want to get into this nose job feud of it all. Between Jennifer Aydin and Rachel Fuda, they're comparing terrible nose jobs. I just thought it was so savage of Aydin to come for Fuda's nose job like that.
People badmouth me about my terrible nose job. I felt bad about your terrible nose job, and I just felt bad. What'd she say?
Look, I appreciate good work, and
Yes.
I think that both of their noses are very specific and iconic within the lexicon of Real Housewives plastic surgery, and it just makes me want to get a nose job.
It made me kind of on the flip side be like, okay, I can't have something else for someone to call out me on. That wasn't the first time she brought up this to Rachel, said it at the Moots party that obviously had more things going on, so we didn't catch it. Then she called her to be like, hey, were you offended when I talked about your nose? By the way, I hate Dolores. What? And then now brought it up then. And I loved that they are really reaching ahead, not clearing any path. And well, now I'm also worried because I don't want to get a nose job because I don't want to get yelled at, but I'm afraid now to do laundry too, because if my shorts look like they're from a hamper, I might get dragged. I don't know.
The genesis of these feuds, it's just incredible. Like nose jobs and hamper shorts, and now Danielle and Jackie are fighting and they're talking with their hands.
I got a vibe from you that I didn't like, so I didn't invite you to my house for my party, whether you did it or not. If I make somebody...
Can you just get your hands out of my face? Thanks.
First of all, you're from Staten Island. You know my hands are in your
but
face.
I don't
They're
want your
not.
hands.
This is how I talk.
How did we get here?
That's the really confusing part where I'm like, okay, maybe, because I feel also like, okay, making fun of my shorts. All right, we all have like funny shorts. Okay, whatever. But Danielle was offended. And I think it didn't help Jackie that Danielle uninvited her. And then they were all kind of sipping some drinks in Teresa and Louis' lovely backyard. And I love that Melissa even said to Jackie, she's like, oh, by the way, I did tell Danielle about the comments. And Jackie's like, I'll tell it to her face. Jackie's not playing around this season.
She really is not. She's a friend of, but she's not a friend of to be with. That is for
She's
sure.
not a friend of Danielle's. She's a foe.
Yeah. Oh, that's
She's
true.
a foe
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean, while Melissa was getting a little bit in their drama, she kind of, I think, accidentally got into some drama of her own a little bit ago when she was on Jeff Lewis's radio show and talked about how she thought Kyle Richards was an Ozempic.
I really put a lot of effort into, my diet and exercise and taking care of myself. So when people like to think I took the easy way out, it's really frustrating to me.
Kyle Richards cannot post a photo without people now commenting that she's on Ozempic. She's all in with Teddy. Teddy's her friend. I'm not shocked that she's now ripped. And also when she posts her workouts, I'm like, Kyle, yeah, I can't do that. I can see where she's getting this ripped body from, but she's getting ripped apart in her comments.
I know, I do. I feel bad for her. I also feel bad for Melissa that she got roped into this, because I listened to that conversation with her and Jeff Lewis. And look, everyone's talking about Ozempic. Our girl Jackie, when she was on the podcast, she said that a lot of people in the Housewives world are on Ozempic. She didn't name names.
Nope.
But apparently it is a thing. I know it's definitely a thing in LA. Like I'm here in LA. I'm on it myself. So we're all on it.
You heard that Jackie interview. Yeah. Evan's on it.
Yeah, everyone is on it, but Melissa was just like, I thought maybe she was on it just because she looks so good. She's been dropping weight. She's been getting in shape. I don't think that Melissa ever came from like a malicious place.
No.
And so she just wanted to make it very clear that she wasn't accusing Kyle of being on it, but she like just assumed that maybe she was getting a little help.
Well, now I feel like that's the thing. Everyone now, if you like drop 5 pounds, it's what everyone's going to assume. They're like, oh, Zempic. So
Even Gigi from Shaw's, she's out here very proudly showing off the results of her Ozempic journey. She's down 11 pounds, and she also like kind of called people out for hiding that they're on Ozempic. So maybe Gigi is opening the doors for other Bravo celebrities to be like, hey, I'm on it.
Lead the change. You know, I feel like 2023 is a big year of Bravo celebrities just being honest. And I hope, well, Tamron Hall, I think, almost made Larsa be honest about her relationship.
Why date Michael Jordan's son?
I didn't plan it like that. It wasn't like it was planned like that. I think we were just together a lot with our friends, and it just so happened.
It was so good. Like Tamron Hall, I feel like she is just so underappreciated.
Well, she has Emmys for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, like she got what needed to be gotten out of Larsa Pippen, getting her to talk about Marcus Jordan, her relationship with Michael Jordan, how that impacts her current dynamic with Scotty. Like, I don't know what Larsa thought she was doing going on the Tamron Hall show. Like, Tamron Hall is not a girl to give you soft questions. Like, she can like level with you and empathize with you, but she is gonna like talk about what needs to be talked about. Yeah,
she's a journalist. She's like, no, Larsa, I'm here to ask you questions. And then when Larsa was even like, we just say mean, like sometimes like we'll say something mean, and then she's like, oh, so all of you are just mean to each other for no reason. Like she kept on getting Larsa stopped in her tracks. I kind of lived for it.
Well, it's so interesting because I feel like Larsa is on this press tour talking all about her personal life, and I feel like our girl Gertie got under her skin a little bit, talking about you're the fakest housewife, you don't put your real life on camera. And Dr. Nicole has said similar things, and Tamron Hall even brought that up during the interview. She was like, Gertie called you the fakest housewife. What's that about? So I think that like maybe this little press tour is damage control for Larsa to be like, look, I am an open book. I talk about my relationship, but do you really? Because Tamron Hall had to basically pull teeth to get out of you.
Literally. And speaking of pulling teeth, I'm not sure if that is why Leah had to go to the hospital in the trailer for the Ultimate Girls Trip season 3. I don't know if it was a dental related thing.
I'm not wearing underwear.
This is real, not TV.
This is real.
I am so excited for season 3. I feel there was kind of a running thing on Twitter. Everyone's like, it's just not happening. It's not going to come. Oh, we're already filming season 4. I don't want it. Blah, 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 blah. And that trailer dropped and everyone's like, oh, Candace is coming after Portia. Giselle's coming after Heather. Leah's coming after Portia. What is going on here? Marisol and Alexia are fighting with each other.
It's a lot to take in. Like on the Sprinter van, because all the best things happen in the Sprinter van. Alexia is telling Marisol to get on pills, basically implying some sort of like, I don't know, mental health struggles. It's so wild. And yeah, I can't wait to see how Giselle and Candace behave with one another. I can't wait to see how Heather and Whitney behave. And then also, I don't know if you saw, but Heather Gay was talking about her experience with Giselle, and she said that Giselle kind of came for her.
That's the thing. I feel all the girls are fighting, and from what we can deduce, because when Giselle was on the podcast with us, she said she has a group chat with her, Portia, Alexia, Marisol. Candace and Leah are doing TikToks together. So I think those are two sides. I don't know where Heather and Whitney fall into it, but I feel like those are the two, maybe that's the three trios, even though I don't really know if I would call Heather and Whitney a trio. Maybe they were forced to maybe befriend each other a little bit more because they're getting jabbed from side to side. Yeah, Giselle said she never wants to leave. And after these Potomac reunions airing, I can understand why. We just talked to Mia, Evan, and she really didn't hold back.
Oh, no, she didn't. She had a very interesting take on all the drama that's been covered during part 1, part 2, and part 3. So get into it. Mia Thornton, welcome to virtual reality. We're so excited to have you on the podcast, especially as the reunion is airing. We are in the thick of a lot of drama going on in Potomac, and we can't wait to break it down with you.
Yes, it's a lot to break down for sure.
And I love that you are zooming into us from your corner office in the new penthouse. Okay. Have you been sending selfies to your castmate to let them know that you're doing just fine?
Well, no, actually. No, I'm not sending anything to those girls. Not right now.
Not one?
They're on pause.
All of them? All the ladies?
No, not all of them.
Well, because I do want to ask you about that, because I was personally kind of shocked part 1 of the reunion. I mean, I think my jaw dropped 800 times. But one time that got me good was when Giselle asked if she was bringing up embezzling. And I was like, isn't that her buddy? How did you feel hearing that happen?
I wasn't bothered by it at all. Like, because, I know myself, I know the facts, I know the truth. And so I'm not guilty. So it really didn't faze me one bit. But watching it back, I'm like, wait a minute, girl, are you checking for me? Like, were you checking and questioning what I had going on? I think she should just worry about herself.
I thought it was pretty surprising because I think this season Giselle has been one of your closest allies. Do you feel betrayed now that you have watched it back and have taken a little bit of time to process her bringing that up at the reunion? Because it's a pretty alarmist thing to say.
It is. It is. It's a huge allegation, and it's not something that we want to play with, right? But do I feel betrayed? No, because one thing that you guys, I think a lot of people like forget to realize, I'm a realist. I want you to say exactly what you're thinking to me. Just don't say it behind my back, right? I would prefer if she has questions, I value and I appreciate women who are strong enough to just come out their mouth and say it directly to my face. Right? I can deal with that any day. So no, I don't feel betrayed by Giselle by all means. Do I feel like it was foul for her to bring that up on this platform? Sure. But I mean, hey, I got my shit in order, so there's no worries over here.
I love that you brought up authenticity and social media because those are two big players in the Real Housewives of Potomac. Yeah. And you talking about that has me, of course, going to Robin and Giselle, who get called out by your castmates sometimes for not being the most at the forefront with what's going on in their lives. I mean, most notably their podcast episode. How are you feeling about, do you feel that they like should be bringing more to the show, or do you think they're doing what they just want to do and then people should be okay with that? Like, how are you interpreting all of that new saga going on?
I mean, that's a loaded question, but I do feel that I don't think that everybody is being completely transparent. I mean, I'm a rare form, so I can't expect everybody to be like me per se, but I do feel like there are things that these ladies are going through that they're not being honest about. And that's okay, right? Those are their choices. It's their life. These are the things that they have to deal with, for example, there's some things that I probably shouldn't put out there because I forget that I have a 5-year-old and for some reason her friends are watching the show. I'm like, what? Huh? Type of like parameters. Where's your mom?
Wait, truly?
Yeah, I go into her class to volunteer and they're like, hi, I see you on TV. And I'm like, what? Your mom is letting you watch this? And so now I'm like, okay, now I have to be a little mindful of that. That's the only reason why, right? But other than that, I just think that, there's I feel like we should just be who we are. We're a reality TV stars. Like the point is real, right? It's REAL.
Right. Well, I think that with Robin, she said she was down to talk about it on camera, the COVID side piece, if it had come up naturally in conversation. So, on one hand, I don't blame her for not just sort of announcing it randomly. But on the other hand, it's like, well, Giselle knew, and Giselle's kind of a secondary producer on the show. She could have come up with like an interesting way to make it part of the season. Do you fault Robin for not bringing it up or sort of having Giselle tee her up to bring it up? Like, what are your thoughts there?
Oh, you guys, y'all know Robin is my girl, right?
Yeah, we're La Robins over here.
We're La Robins, yes. If I had an embellished hat, I'd wear it.
Okay, please do. I love her. And it's so unfortunate because if I think about the cast, and if you were to ask me who's the realest of the bunch, I would say Robin. So was I disappointed to know that there was something that she was dealing with that I didn't know about? I'm like, what? It's true. But I get it, right? I do. It's a very touchy situation that she is trying to navigate with her best friend, right? And they're trying to figure things out. There's a lot of pain, there's a lot of hurt. Does she really want to talk about this on national television, especially if they've already moved forward? Probably not, because what happens is that it just opens up old wounds. So I get it. I understand why she left it alone. Now, I didn't like when she was like, oh, waiting for somebody else to bring it up. I was like, no, girl. Like, if you're going to bring it up, right? Like, don't wait until after the fact. If Gordon was accused of doing something like that, I mean, I would be pissed at him, like, dumbass, like, get a fake card or something, right? Use a Cash App, give her the money. Like, don't put your name on there. Like, what the hell?
ATM.
Peter. Yeah. Should it have been brought up? Sure. Yes, I think it should have, right? I'm pretty sure we're going to have to talk about this soon. But do I understand why she didn't? Yes, I do. And I feel for her.
I feel like you were kind of the MVP of the reunion because I don't know, Danny, I don't know if you were paying attention, but during part 1 of the reunion, Mia, your side commentary about the whole Ashley and Michael
Secure the
situation
bag.
actually hysterical. She needed another baby. She didn't secure the bag. Also, when the comparisons are made between Michael and Luke, you're like, no, Michael hasn't made, he's not intimidated by little Luke. What are your just overall thoughts about this whole Luke and Ashley, Michael, the house, the money, the prenup? Like it's a lot.
I think that Ashley needs to spend more time worrying about Ashley, and then maybe she would have secured the bag. She was so busy running around town, chasing after what Chris is doing to Candace or not doing, right? Or DMing or who not DMing. And I'm like, girl, you should have just been DMing like your next thing. Like you need to find a man. Clearly, you need to secure the bag.
What are your thoughts after that reunion unfolds with the whole Candace, Chris debacle? Because it seems like even Andy is like, guys, what is going on here? And it's like Robin was a good in between Candace and Giselle, I felt, but now in the reunion, it seems like she's fully on Giselle's side. So what are your thoughts on all of this?
You guys, I don't know what was going on, right? So it's crazy because when I was watching this back with you all, I'm like, okay, is that what we're doing? I had no idea that was even happening. Like, because, you know, we don't, like Giselle didn't tell me directly. She had that sidebar conversation with Candace. I didn't like it at all. I actually reached out to Candace in the middle of the season, was like, I'm sorry. Like, I had no idea that this was like the narrative that we were chasing after. I don't like coming after husbands. That's not what I do. You know what I mean? Like, I have my own husband here. We're happy 10 years married. I don't come after nobody else's husband. I don't need nobody else's husband, okay? I don't want you guys coming for mine. I love how Candace stood up for her husband. Like, she was like, where's Eric?
I love that. Iconic housewife moment. And also, especially because Chris seems like a really nice guy, too.
I love Chris.
Yeah.
I do. I think he's a lot of fun. And I think that, you know, unfortunately, he is just, he feels comfortable with us, right? He does. And he should. You know, he's not coming for us. Like, he has his own wife at home, but he should feel comfortable like a brother. And I don't want him to feel uncomfortable with us. So I didn't like it at all.